Have you ever found yourself wondering, where do I go from here? And I'm talking especially when you're feeling lost and unsure of what's next for your life. But what if I told you that even in the hardest of times, there is a path forward, even in that darkness? So let's walk together, and I will show you how to acknowledge your grief, find support, and gradually rediscover hope and purpose. Because this isn't just about coping, it's about transforming your pain into a meaningful tomorrow. Hey friend, welcome back to Grief Questions Answered. I'm Eric, and it's my goal with these videos to share everything I've learned about how to survive, find support in the loneliness of grief, and how to intentionally get back up and live beyond the loss of a loved one. If this grief tip doesn't help you today, I am confident it can and will help you at some point in the future, so be sure to save this video to watch later on. Now, today's question comes from Jess, who asked me, where do I go from here? Because I don't know what's next for my life. And Jess, knowing where to go after we lose a loved one presents a huge challenge for us, right? I mean, it kind of feels like your loss has stopped all momentum forward in your life, and you're not sure how to navigate your grief day to day, let alone consider what's next for your life. Yet we constantly think about what's next, and it leaves us feeling overwhelmed sometimes. And look, I get it, because when I lost Zoe, the previous life that I was living up to the point of her death, it simply stopped the day that her life did. And yet elements of that past life were still present and kind of bleeding into this new future. And all those plans that I made with Zoe still in it were no longer going to take place, and it was very confusing. It was just a harsh reminder of that deep impact that her loss had on my life and that of her friends and my family at that time. And so in those early months after her loss, I kept finding myself thinking about, where do I go from here? Because her sudden loss changed everything in an instant, and it was overwhelming for me as well. And I remember sitting with my therapist one day, and I asked her point blank, what am I going to do? And she said, Eric, you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to put your feet on the floor. You're going to get dressed. You're going to get breakfast. You're going to go to work. You're going to do the best there. You're going to come home. You're going to cook dinner, maybe work out, and then wind down, and then go to bed. And the next day, you're going to do the same thing until this becomes the norm, despite how you're feeling. Basically, she was saying to do this over and over again. And she was showing me that there aren't any big steps to take in grief, but instead there are smaller steps that add up to pulling you out of your grief. And it's one step at a time. So my point here is to set small goals for yourself, Jess. Get through one day of grief at a time. Build your hope up one step at a time, because we can't take all the steps at once. We can only take the next step that's in front of us. And as you continue to heal, there will be new opportunities for recognition of your purpose and your meaning, and that will emerge, and the timing will be exact on that, and you'll be exactly where you need to be in your life at that point when it appears. And we can't force this to come any sooner, but we can take steps to care for ourselves right now until those moments arrive, and it's okay to do that. I have actually gotten stronger because of this exact path, and it's the reason why I'm here right now sharing this with you. Because if I didn't metabolize my grief in this way, I wouldn't be able to share the things that I've learned along the way in order to help you on your journey. Each day you take a smaller step forward, and you get stronger and more resilient with every step that you take. And eventually those new plans, goals, and a direction will emerge as you continue to heal. And by then you won't be feeling this deep grief and even guilt about integrating this into your life at that point, which is really cool. So where you go from here is less about setting those big scary goals for your life right now. It's about taking the smaller steps that lead to significant healing and impact for your life moving forward. And you do that by giving yourself the permission to grieve as you need to and embrace where you are on the journey right now. And remember, you're not alone. As always, I hope this helps. Do you have a question about grief that I can answer for you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button down below, as this is the best way to get notified of new videos just like this and to show support for the channel. Let's walk together, and I'll see you in next week's video.